Well, joining us for this very special interview is Ranveer Brar, who's a celebrity chef, content creator, all rolled into one. Thank you very much, Ranveer, for joining us today on the Influencer Zinc. I want to begin by asking you a little bit about the content creation journey and what it really takes to create content that really appeals to the audience out there.
Every content creator comes with his own personality, comes with their own persona, with their own idea of what they want to bring to the space. And it's very easy to differentiate yourself just by being yourself. All of us are unique bodies of emotions and ideas, and those emotions and ideas is what people connect to. And that's what our content, I believe, should represent, our unique emotions and ideas. I always say I'm a chef first, and that makes life very easy when you're a chef first and a creator later. I have the advantage of coming with a skill set that is of a certain value, and then it just becomes about making people feel the same way you feel about that skill set or about food in general. And I think that is the beautiful part about what I do. I don't know if content strategy is something that I had in mind, or I really planned this journey or strategized this journey to the T. What I felt was, I understood the mediums where I wanted to be. I understood the expectations of the audience in those mediums. There are mediums where I naturally fit. I chased those mediums. Mediums where where there is no natural fit. Everybody has a personality type. You don't want to alter yourself and make everybody happy. And as a team, we focus on distribution mediums which are aligned to us, and that's about it. And I think we've done pretty okay for ourselves. Long way to go, but we definitely have been able to crack it up a little bit.
Ranveer, tell us a little bit about how you go about planning what to put out and what people want to really watch. Because when you think about the kind of recipes that are there, there are diverse recipes out there. So what do you decide and when to put out that content is something that requires a little bit of thinking. So how do you decide on, which recipe I should post today or which recipe will work next week?
I think there are some things that are driven by calendar. Whether it is vegetarian months or Ramadan or festivals, other festivals, and some are driven by intuition and seasonality. A lot of times you go to the market and you see good sarson ka saag and you want to cook it. And, a lot of other people would probably be going to the market, seeing sarson ka saag and wanting to cook it as well. So it's a mix of calendar planning, intuition, seasonality, and cravings. What I am craving for in a large probability, a lot of us would be craving for the same thing. So if it is rains, you'll crave for a bread pakoda. If it is, winters, you'll crave for a good, nice, warm cup of tea. So it's a mix of all that.
Right, I also want to talk to you a little bit about the evolution of your own cooking. How would you see Ranveer Brar, evolve going forward? Are you looking at more kind of experimental cooking, fusion recipes? What do you think is the way forward for your style of cooking?
I think the curve that I have taken as a professional chef has been, I started with merging experiences and inspired food, and I have come to cooking simple classical dishes to a stage wherein we can say that we are enjoying what we're doing, and I'm happy like this. And they say never, so we don't really know how it's going to pan out. But I think for sure, what we are going to see more of when it comes to me is classical dishes with a with a decent history, with a decent story attached to them. A lot of fusion inspired food was Ranveer in early 30s, maybe. This is early 40s. So my evolution that way has been reversed. I want to cook food that is classic, that's simpler, that's soothing. Soul food is my way forward for now, at least for the next 5 years.
When you talk about the kind of mistakes you made in your journey, I want to understand, what do you think are the top two mistakes perhaps that you made in your journey as a chef, as a content creator, in your perspective?
I think trying to make everyone happy is one biggest mistake that I made for a really long time. I come from a television background and a hotel background. Now, hotels and I mean, you can't really take a very strong stand. You're trying to serve a large audience, and eventually, you end up looking at a denominator that's common, like for a large spectrum of people, something that works for a large spectrum of people. And hence, it becomes very difficult to take sides, take a stand, do stuff that might be irking to a section. With my learning has been, in today's world, people want to know you, and you come with your flaws, and it doesn't have to be a mask that is trying to make everyone happy. It actually should not be a mask in the digital space that's trying to make everyone happy. People appreciate the fact that some people like your jokes, some people don't. People who get it, as long as the number of people who get your jokes and your sense of humor is more than the number of people who don't, you're all right. I think that's one. That's one learning. The second learning is keeping it simple. With age and with experience, all of us learn that in life also. We might start off with needing a lot, requiring a lot, but eventually we all realize that it's about a very few things that really make a difference. Even with content and communication, it's actually about very few things that make a difference. And there's no point speaking a lot, saying a lot. So, yeah.
You said that there's a lot of things that you learn from, and the fact is that you can't make everybody happy out there. But on social media, you receive so many comments, so many suggestions. So how do you deal with criticism, comments, suggestions? How do you take all of that feedback?
So I think over the years, and I'm still trying to do that, but over the years I've realized that you need to be a little numb and a little dumb to before you look at what people are saying. I think over the last few years, social media has become a place where where a lot is being said. And it can really affect you. So a little dumbness and a little numbness is good when you're reading social media. Overthinking and analytics and of every comment can really bring you down, and that's my message to all creators. I think somebody's having a bad day, and you need to dismiss. You need to learn the difference between constructive feedback and somebody having a bad day, and just dismiss there's somebody having a bad day comment chain from your feed. Unfortunately, somebody having a bad day, the numbers getting bigger. But I think that's where we need to be smart and a little numb and understand and believe in what you're doing. And that's why you should only do what you believe in, because later, you don't want to be someone else, be criticized for being someone else, and then later realize that I could have been myself.
Interesting perspective out there. On that note, Ranveer, I'm going to do a quick rapid fire with you. So are you ready to answer
Yeah,
quick and crisp answers? Yeah,
sure.
a lot like your meal time. All right. So what's your favorite cuisine? If you had to choose one cuisine, which would be your absolute favorite?
Mm. Bengal food.
Okay. What, according to you, is the one ingredient that brings out the taste in any kind of food?
Salt.
Other than yourself, whose cooking do you like the most?
My wife, Pallavi's.
Okay. If you were to describe yourself as a vegetable, what would it be?
I'd be a Karela.
Okay. What is your go-to comfort food?
Khichdi.
Okay. What is your favorite street food?
My favorite street food would be fuchka.
Okay. If you had to choose between proper Chinese and desi Chinese, what would be
Desi
your?
chai.
Okay. What was your favorite school tiffin as a child? What did your lunchbox really look like?
Parathas 4 out of 6 days.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the Punjabi tiffin for you.
If you were to add a quick twist to Maggie or any pack of noodles, what would you do the Ranveer Brar Maggie if you had to put out?
Well, for any instant noodle, I love putting loads of cheese on it and then, cooking it, putting loads of cheese on it and baking it, and then just sprinkling it with some fresh herbs. Yeah, I mean, the whole baking bit with loads of cheese gives it a fantastic dimension. Might as
Okay.
well, right? I mean, if you're eating an instant noodle, then a little bit of cheese on top doesn't really matter.
What is the one food item that you absolutely don't like to eat?
Nothing as such, absolutely. But on the less favorable side, there is arvi, gunya arvi, arvi, right? That's what you call it here.
Yeah.
Colocasia.
Yes.
Um, I think that's one vegetable, and drumsticks. I just find the drumstick part very tedious. So yeah.
Okay, tell us about your favorite dessert. If you had to pick one, it could be Indian, it could be Western. What would it be?
My favorite dessert, I think it'll be kheer. Yeah. There's something very calming and soothing about just milk and rice and sugar cooked together. Just three ingredients and how they create magic.
One cooking advice or a quick tip that you'd like to share with our audience listening to this interview?
I think one is going to be very difficult, but I'll try. Um, let's make it two real quick ones. Okay. one is one is keep the gas low and the spirits high. Yeah. Cook for longer on lower temperatures for optimum flavor. That's one. Two is when you're looking, you're not cooking. When it needs to cook, just let it be. Don't keep looking. Looking is not cooking.
Well, on that note, thank you very much for joining us today, Ranveer. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And thank you so much for all your quick hacks. I'm going to try and use them as well. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for being a part of the Influencers Inc.